don't? No, you are wrong. I am a god!
I'm Rex Paradox, the greatest man who ever lived, your future shadow overlord, part-time otaku, cinnamon toast crunch lover, and today on the program, I'm talking about Star Wars. So, straight up, this here is a video based on two questions. The first question being, was Star Wars ever good? The second question being, is Star Wars a generational movie? So, let's start with the first question. Was Star Wars ever good? The first three Star Wars movies are considered a cult classic. It's impossible to talk about iconic movie franchises and not have Star Wars in the conversation. Generally, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, is considered the best movie not only in the original trilogy, but in the franchise as a whole. Personally, I think the best Star Wars movie is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, for reasons I'll explain later on with my second question about Star Wars being generational. The Empire Strikes Back definitely has the most iconic scene in the franchise, no question. The scene in question being Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, aka the Joker, aka Firelord Ozai, aka Skips, aka Captain Stickybeard, has his hand liberated from his body and told that his father is a 6'8" robotic man thing with one of the most iconic voices and music themes in media as a whole. But that's about it for Star Wars. Episode 4 and 6 have good scenes, but they aren't Episode 5 good. Personally, I think given the time and technology George Lucas had when he made Star Wars, what he did was impressive, but the original 3 movies are boring to me. I don't care about the feature attractions in those movies, mainly being space battles. Nothing about TIE fighters, although they sound cool, it's cool to me. It's not going to do it. It's not going to make me like the series more. To me, it's just filler that happens because this is the war part of Star Wars. I could go into detail why I think the fights are boring, but that's not what this video is about. And before I get to the second part of the video, and the second question, the original Star Wars films are slow, and the acting's just okay. There is no good acting. There's no amazing acting in episodes 4 through 6. So like, if you've seen 4 through 6 and those are your favorite Star Wars movies, like, get off of that shit, man. You know the acting ain't that good in those movies. Get the fuck out of here. Just like take your ass and get the fuck out of here. Question number 2. Is Star Wars a generational thing? To this I say yes. For context, I'm currently 24, meaning I'm a 90s/early 2000s kid. I grew up and watched episodes 1 through 3 before seeing episodes 4 through 6. Personally, I think episodes 1 through 3 are way better than 4 through 6. Darth Maul is way cooler than Darth Vader. It's bullshit how Darth Maul gets treated in the movie, but he's way cooler. Not only that, but the lightsaber battles, which is the thing I like the most about Star Wars, are actually interesting in episodes 1 through 3, unlike the original movies. And someone might say, well, what about Jar Jar Binks? And to that I say, okay, but in the original trilogy you have Ewoks. No question Jar Jar Binks is an annoying character. But his existence is part of what makes the films memorable. Good or bad, his existence is part of what makes the films memorable. Because he can always come back and be killed off, and everyone would love that shit. If Jar Jar Binks came back in episode 9 and he fucking got killed or murdered, whatever the fuck, people would love that shit, I guarantee you. Episode 2 is kinda meh in my opinion, but the Clone Army's cool. They put in work, and the movie's really just meh to me, honestly. Like, the best part of the movie's at the end with Count Dooku and Yoda. They had that lightsaber battle, and that's just like, that's all I can really say that's good about episode 2. Episode 3, which is the best in the franchise to me, is the most turned up movie in the franchise. Episode 3 is actually the first movie to pick up after another property, being Star Wars the micro series that aired on Cartoon Network. Way back in the day. That is forever the canon bridge between episode 2 and episode 3. The micro series made by Grindy Tchaikovsky, however the fuck you say this nigga's name. The dude who made Samurai Jack, Dexter, Hotel Transylvania. That's the one true canon bridge between episode 2 and episode 3. Fuck Ahsoka Tano, fuck that reboot shit. It's the goddamn micro series. Episode 3 starts with General Grievous after he just got his chest caved in by Mace Windu in the micro series. Episode 3 was just crazy. You have Anakin, a character who's been growing up as the movies go on. From a boy to a man, or maybe a young man, and he's having a motherfucking identity crisis. He goes to the dark side, he kills Count Dooku, the clone army turns on the Jedi Order and start hunting the Jedi down. Anakin literally kills a bunch of fucking kids. He kills a bunch of kids. Emperor Palpatine has a dope fight with Yoda. Mace Windu dies in the bullshit way. You know, it was a real bullshit death the way that he died. Like, come on, man. I killed a one black character off in this series like this. Like, for real? Really, nigga? Like, what the fuck? And some people say, you know, it's like, well, Anakin sucks. He's all emo and edgy. I'm like, bitch, Anakin was a slave most of his early life. His mother was tortured and killed, and he was powerless to do anything about it. He literally had his fucking hand cut off at one point. Like, nigga, I assume a motherfucker would be depressed after all that shit happened to him. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Not only all the other shit I just said, but since the moment he was freed from slavery, I need to make that clear, Anakin was a slave. He's being trained by these people that took him away from his home and his mother, telling him that he's gonna bring balance to the Force, which is code for, hey kid, you about to solve all our problems eventually. That's a lot of pressure for anybody growing up. Fuck out of here telling me Luke's a better character than Anakin. Fuck out of here telling me Luke is a better character than Anakin. Anakin went through some real shit. He went through some crazy shit. This kid, he was a fucking slave who had his hand cut off. Get the fuck out of here. For the new generation, I'm sure for some of them, the new movies are their favorites. I think episode 7 was okay. Episode 8, that shit was terrible. The Last Jedi was an awful movie. I see it as a filler movie though. I see The Last Jedi equivalent to episode 2. That's what I see it as. So hopefully episode 9 will be turned the fuck up. I think episode 8, it was just a terrible movie. But everyone has a Star Wars movie that they don't like. For a long time, it was cool to hate on episodes 1 to 3. And I say, fuck all that. You old motherfucking fans, you guys are blinded by nostalgia. I'll take good lightsaber battles over. Luke, use the Force, Luke. I will take that shit over fucking blowing up the Death Star any motherfucking day. Any day of the week. The bottom line is, Star Wars is a generational franchise. It is now. It didn't used to be because it was only 2 generations. But it's a generational franchise now. And everyone from whatever generation that they grow up with thinks that their generation is the best. I'm sure like 10 years from now, some kids who end up being my age, they'll probably be like, oh, you know, some of them kids ain't gonna make it to my age. Let's be real. But some of them kids gonna be like, oh, you know, episodes 7 through 9 were the best. And I'ma still be alive, and I'm like, nah, nigga, episodes 1 through 3 were the best. Mainly episode 3. And some old ass motherfucker in like his 70s or some shit, he's gonna be like, well, back in my day. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, old man. Nigga, episode 4 through 6 was some garbage. Get the fuck out of here. Episode 5 was okay, but 4 through 6 was some bullshit. And then I'm like, fucking tell the young kids, like, nigga, The Last Jedi was garbage. Like, get the fuck out of here. But that's it. I'm Rex Paradox, the greatest man who ever lived. This video is over. Have a nice day. Goodbye. How many kids did you kill? A lot. How many limbs did you lose? A lot. Left me to die in lava. Damn, that shit was hot.